I'm tired. It wasn't the walk over here, it was the stare. It's alright, guys. My wife loves me. She says I look like Benedict Cumberbatch in my x-rays. And thanks for not saying anything at the fact that I'm married. You're all going to hell for that. Just not believing that shit, that's not right. So, it's alright. Second time's a charm. And just so none of you think it, I did not eat my first wife. I squished her. Guys, it's tough when you look kind of like a homeless Santa this time of year. And I have a little message for parents that are walking around with their children, and their children ask, "Is that Santa?" And they say, "Why don't you ask him?" Fuck you. Guys, things are difficult when people describe you as a 6-midget Voltron walking around. It has its issues. It has its issues, right? And that's, I stand out. I'm used to being stared at, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. But now there's a lot of Christmas parties for workplaces. That makes it a little difficult when everyone's like, "Hey, Dino," and I'm like, "Hey, guy, shit." And I have no idea who the fuck they are. But the one good thing is I've learned some things in the years that I've been around, which is like 1,000, obviously, how I look, is that if you remember someone you don't want to talk with, okay, this is very key now, be careful how you use this. It depends on who you're doing it to. When you shake their hand, you give them the dongle. Anyone know what this is? Okay. It's when you shake the hand and you put your finger in the middle of the palm. Okay? Now, if this is a person you don't want to hang out with, it works out well because they immediately go, "Ew." And you do not have to deal with them at all. It's very advantageous. And then you get to play games about Christmas party, like whose spouse is going to get shit-faced first. It's very funny. I always win. It's great. It's because half of this is liver. Works out very well. But, it's very difficult these days. People walking around, I tell you, some things really annoy me, like slow walkers. I'm not known for my speed, people. I'm really not. But if you're in my way walking, you're a piece of garbage. You really are. It's tricky. That's why I read an article and I was inspired. I think I might get a tattoo. There was a young girl in the Philippines. She went to a track meet, won her 3 races, and all she had for shoes was bandages on her feet. Now, it's fantastic, absolutely. What she had done was she had drawn on the Nike symbol on the bandages. So it just proves that anything you put that symbol on goes faster. So I'm thinking of getting an assortment of them in random places. Like certain places you don't want fast. Like none of them are going to be up front, right? But maybe the back. It's going to be trial and error. I'm going to figure it out. It's always... guys, I notice odd things at random times, and you overhear weird things too. Like I'm old as hell and married, and I have no interest in meeting people because, I'm a horrible human being. But you overhear things, especially when you're out every night. Like I heard a guy say, "I want to clean her chocolate factory." And that's when you know you don't want to talk to somebody. I had another guy come up to me wearing jogging pants, socks, and flip-flops. He's like, "Hey, man." I'm like, "Nah, we're not going to talk. You come back when you have 50% more she'll think about it." Guys, I like to travel. People who sit beside me on airplanes do not like that I travel. But you see some odd things, like people walk around barefoot on a plane. That does not make any sense. They don't clean those bathrooms mid-flight, people. You are taking your life in your own hands. But the worst thing I ever saw was, you can get those seats with the wall in front of them. Get a little extra leg room. It's nice. And this one guy, who I can only assume didn't get beaten enough as a child, just immediately, boom, bare feet on the wall. And it got worse, people. It got worse. But I'll tell you, as it was getting worse, I realized that this gentleman had fingos. Do you know what fingos are? Those are finger-like toes. Those are toes that have all the dexterity of fingers, but on your feet. It is a crime against humanity, and they're disgusting. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was there was a tablet on the wall. So he was using his fingers to everything. And I can only imagine the next person who sat there, you know, taking their kid to the doctor saying, I don't know how he got athlete's foot on his tongue. You guys have been horrible. I had a great time. The stage didn't break. It was good. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Let's bring up your host, Mike Payne.